close I should have it?
Really close, but
Is not eating it?
yes.
Okay, thanks. Can I put my stuff here as well?
Well, you have to mean, I don't know why I'm keeping this.
Yeah, because it's not good to have this phone maybe close by mic. So okay. So I cannot go basic. I cannot go this.
Je sais pas ce que c'est. Alors ça s'est allumé, vous me dites? C'est bon ça? Ça c'est pas vous ça? C'est bon? Là? Oui. Merci. We leave maybe like 2 minutes for the last people to get in a room. Okay, please come in. Pleasure to have you. Yes, that's the right room. That's the proper room. Okay, so I'll suggest we get started. That will make the other people come in. We have a session today with 4 presenters. First of which being Passy, who will introduce himself. I was just looking for maybe the other presenters to yes, of course, I'm missing 2. We'll arrange a switch, of course, in between the presentations so that you can come here. Okay, so this track is about linear structures. And Pierre Benning was in the back of the room here. Pierre is a IT director for Bouygues Construction, Civil Works. He's been as well co-director of the MIND project, and he's been promoting BIM for infrastructure projects for Bouygues, but elsewhere for 15 years minimum. And I've been doing the same thing. I'm Michel Rive. I've been doing the same thing as a consultant for BIM for infrastructure projects. And we are both delighted to see that there is, maybe for the first time, a track that is dedicated to linear structures in a BIM conference. Because we all know that infrastructure projects are not only about earthworks, road pavement, railways, but they are as well very much about key structures like bridges, cut and covers, tunnels, underground structures in general. And so this one track is actually split in 2 parts. We have this part this afternoon, and we have another part tomorrow morning. This one is a little bit more focused on tunnel and underground structures, but the one tomorrow is a bit more on bridges. But anyway, linear structures for infrastructure projects. The key changes in the sense that we can now, of course, manage those objects, those linear objects, as part of the entire infrastructure projects. Forgot to mention that I am as well driving for Building Smart International, the IFC 4 tunnel project. And I'll take this occasion as a teaser for the presentation I'll be giving tomorrow at 12:30. Excuse me, but I'd like to have you, if ideally, in that presentation, that'd be an update on this key project that we are developing for the industry. So I'd like to hand over to Passy. These presentations today, as you'll see, in my view, have a clear stress on the value of managing the information that is generated as part of the development of a project globally, from its starts, from its functional requirements to its design, its construction, the handover to assets management, and the management globally of the information that is related to the project that has been built. As you would know, we are not managing CAD files anymore, we are not managing drawings anymore, we are managing objects. And those objects have properties. Some of those properties are geometries, but most of it are information that is related to the object itself for the long run, because it has value when it comes to maintain that object and to know what it was about and why it was designed that way and how it has to be maintained. So I think we see this trend now very much so. Again, we manage objects, and those objects have a series of properties, and it becomes now, in my opinion, very much a thing that is part of an IT mainstream process. So Pasi, I'm handing over to you for this presentation of yours. Introduce yourself, please. Questions will be asked at the end of that presentation, if you'd like, and we'll exchange with Pasi.
Thank you, Michel. I was told that bonjour comes before merci. So bonjour, and welcome to this presentation. My name is Pasi Joensuu, and I come from a company called Infrakit. And I work there as a vice president of business development. And one part of that job is to have presentations like this one. So topic here today is how are digitalization and sustainability connected in construction? And the question here is why Infrakit is talking about this. In order to understand that fully, we need to go back 15 years to University of Oulu, where we have representatives here today as well, and see how our current CEO and founder, Mr. Teemu Kivimäki, was there as a researcher. There was a program going on where two Finnish companies were asking how can we manage data better way. And Infrakit is a spin-up of that project. Teemu had a vision to make the best data platform on earth, to make companies to digitalize their processes. And we had a vision to offer the best cloud platform for success of infra construction industry. And that's actually why I joined the company almost 6 years ago. When Teemu got a family and he got children, he started to think with his co-founder, Mr. Matti Mykkänen, that is this vision something that I want to explain to my children, what daddy did. And they realized both that no, it's not. If companies digitalize their processes, yes, that is good, but digitalization itself is not a goal. It's a doorstep. Like you all remember industrialization a bit more than 100 years ago, it made our society like it's today. That's why we have microphones, TVs, cars. Digitalization is a similar doorstep. And that's why today our vision is sustainable infra construction industry. And that is the legacy we want to leave to our children. I made a study inside our company. We have some 45 employees. I didn't ask them all, but few who recently joined the company. Why did you come? What was the reason? And many of them said that this is the reason. We wanted to be part of something great. And that's why I'm having this presentation today. So when we think of infra construction industry, we can find that we have several challenges, yes. But I would say we have 5 major challenges. First is profit margins that are very small. Second is productivity per person has not really grown up. You can find several studies where the comparison made back to 1995, for instance, and it's at the same level still, when other industries have grown a lot. Third is infra construction industry is one of the greatest emission providers in global scale. Again, you can search, you will find several studies. Fourth, digitalization in end-to-end process is poor. I would say, based on my own communication with several people, 90% of digitalization talks in infra industry is in design. Design, execution, asset management or maintenance, how you want to call it. End-to-end process is poor. And fifth, not enough good data for decision making. Those challenges lead us to focus on how we can solve, or can we solve, all of this at the same time. From my perspective, what we need four things. Actually, we need two things: innovators and enablers. And then we need measurements and actions. Let's see more about these. First, innovators. Now I need to apologize. I have a few typos here because this is made from different computer and here different. But we talk about innovators. We need two types of innovators. First, we need universities, researches, studies, talk about robotics, 5D, 6D, 7D, XD. We need those innovators to show where we are going. But then we need innovators, like I believe that you and me, who are working daily in their work site, and they are not happy with the situation where they are in. They know that we need to do something to make this better. Who understand that 3D comes before 4D, before 5D. So those both. And I'm happy to see that there are those people a lot who want to make this happen. Then we need enablers. Again, based on discussions with tens of BIM coordinators, BIM directors, BIM whatever. Most of them are young, recently graduated from universities, hired by big construction companies, and all of them have the same question when I ask them, how are you doing? What is your task list? I was hired to solve this BIM issue in our company. And my supervisors think I'm hired, problem solved. They then have no resources, they have no power, they have no money. They're just working by themselves. Enabling doesn't mean throwing responsibility to somewhere else. Enabling means that it's authorization given to someone and doing the work together. Giving responsibility, yes. Giving power, giving direction, and following it up. Do you agree? Good? Then measurements. How can we know that we are going to the right direction? If you go to websites of several companies, like I made a study, just 10 random construction companies in Europe, when I made this presentation. I opened their group level front page. 9 of them were talking about sustainability in their front page. So it seems that this is a very important topic. But when you dig deeper and try to see how they are measuring where they're going, that's not so clear anymore. And I have discussed with some of these companies, their directors who are in charge of this, and they said there is no common standards, nothing where we can compare each other's. Where are we? And if you go to national level, there are nice talks, but not really measurements. Or we measure this in 5 years. We want to be better than today. Those are good initiatives. But if you are working in a construction company or in a government level, 5 years is way too long period to measure something. So what you need a baseline. You need to study where you are today. Because otherwise you don't know if you are doing better or not. It can be ugly numbers, it can be ugly process. How long does it take to make designs from designer to a process of approving the work site to get something back? If you have some errors there, how long does it take? Who is in charge? But you should make those measurements. Then we need smart targets. I'm sure that you all know smart targets, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. You have heard about this. Everybody should know if they are doing right. Then relevant KPIs. And then continuous measurements. I would say in the beginning, minimum every quarter. You should see if you are going the right direction. When it's going, then you can do it maybe every year, but in the beginning. Then we need actions in 3 different areas. First, with materials. An end-to-end optimization from CO2 point of view or greenhouse emissions point of view. Think about drilling, blasting, loading, crushing, transporting, compacting, all these. What are your emissions today and what are you going to do with them? Real-time CO2 calculations, real-time mass calculation. BIM models should include CO2. Then, execution phase. If you think spot-wise or locally, changing diesel engine machines to electrical machines, it's an expensive way, but it's easy way to reduce emissions. But I would encourage you to think global scale. How you can make an impact in a wider area, not just in one location. End-to-end logistics with real measured numbers. People flow, other logistics, inbound, outbound. Working machinery, emission-wise. And get real data available, real time. Then third thing is loss of carbon sinks. If you cut one tree, is it possible to plant another tree somewhere else? Or like in one movie I saw recently, when they cut one tree, they plant 2 trees instead. Is it always better to make the road or railroad going through the forest, or could we do something else? I'm not here to teach you how to plan, but just to think. And CO2, asset owners, if here any owner, demand it. Demand CO2 or emissions reporting in your bidding. So just an easy roadmap for you to think towards zero emissions. In left-hand side, you see actions required, and the right-hand side, measurable benefits. First, know where you stand. There are many actions that are right, but if you don't know where you start, you may not enter to right place. Measure your baseline, like I said earlier. Measure it where you are today. And then define where you want to go. Build a roadmap, because you cannot do it at once. Connect your work site as soon as possible. By this I mean connect them to machine control systems, use cloud services to get data easily to work site from a work site. And then put a demand to market. If you are asset owner, put it to your bidding papers that machines need to be connected to cloud service so that you can get online reporting. If you are a main contractor, put it to demand to your subcontractors that you need to have machines connected so that you can manage them. And the funny thing is that you get more money quite instantly. Because reduced cost level and less waste. Normally you overdig 5 centimeters if you don't have machine control systems in use, just to be sure that you get deep enough. If you think highway 1 kilometer, 50 meters wide, 5 centimeters too deep, how many times your excavator digs that this doesn't need to? And then you can get data-driven leadership immediately one place. Measure the work and emissions, streamline the process. I promise to you, you cannot make it right at first try. Benefits come clearer and more obvious. You start to understand what affects what, how to make it happen. Define goals for emissions and other sustainable indexes. In there, you start to understand how you can really make it, what is achievable. And then measure, measure, and measure. Targets are more concrete and achievable. And then finally, just follow the plan. And then important, let others know what you're doing. Because people tend to be jealous. Just put the information to market. No matter if you are a representative of Lyon City, you can tell the world that we are going towards zero emissions now, and we know how. Other cities will follow you. If you are a contractor, do the same. And you are in a journey to clean future. I promise to you, this is how it goes. And now, one funny thing. You remember those 5 challenges we were talking about? Anyone? You remember or no? No? Yeah. Okay, let's see. First challenge was small profit margin. Our customers tell that they save 10 to 20% when they use digital solutions. Big projects, if you have 1 to 2% margin, and there is your competitor who has 10% less cost level, who will benefit the projects more? This is reality. This is not just a sales pitch. Second, poor productivity. In here, your people know what to do, when to do, and how to do it. Third, great CO2 provider or greenhouse emissions provider. In here, you are tackling that. Fourth, poor level of digitalization. Not anymore. You tackle it pretty fast. And fifth, lack of data. No, not anymore. In the first step, you really tackle 2 of those 5 issues. If you don't believe me, try me. All right. So sustainability can be achieved by digitalization. It demands innovators, enablers, measurements, and actions. We need to consider materials, execution, and loss of carbon sink. I believe we can do it. I thank you for being part of that journey. Merci.
Thanks very much, Pasi. Very clear. Thanks. Return on experience is, of course, very, very interesting. I don't know how many customers you are sort of compiling the feedback from, but like I would say a dozen, 20, 30 customers, something like that.
Pretty much.
Okay. Maybe just before we open up for questions here in the room, Pierre, do we have any questions on the chat? Pas trop? Not at all. Okay. Okay. So you've been very
clear.
You've been very clear. I had one question though. You referred to KPIs, and of course, this is something that people look to try to size. You know what it is that we talk about. You had like 1 or 2 examples of KPIs you would recommend that people start tracing when moving forward with the approach.
It depends so much where that individual or where the department is, where the company is, and what are they trying to achieve. But I strongly advise you to think that benefits the company, benefits the individual. That if, for instance, if data is not coming from work site, let's say that the reporting is every 2 weeks, let's say. Put a KPI to get reporting every 1 week or every day. How can you measure it? It's very easy to measure. And by the end of next month, so there's also timeline.
Okay. Any question in the audience? Please.
That's an excellent one. So how do we evaluate that data, what we're collecting is correct and it's good quality? So if you go now to InfraKit, how we take the data, it's real data that comes automatically from work site. So it's not manipulated by anyone. So it is, for instance, as-built points that have they digged deep enough or not? What is the progress of work site today? How many cubic meters have been transported out or in? That kind of data. So if you get good data into the system, we get good data out from the system. So, but my experience is that, for instance, we need to educate site people that when they make measurement, whether it's a surveyor, normally surveyors know how to make these measurements, but like in Finland or in Scandinavia, we use a lot machine drivers or excavator drivers to make measurements. We need to train them how to make these measurements. And then education comes as a big part of that.
Thanks, Pasi. Any other question? Don't be shy. It's the right time. Pasi is flying back tomorrow to Finland, so no? Are we good? We are good. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Pasi.
Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, we have a stand down there.
Yes.
Just feel free to come and visit, and my colleagues are there. If I'm not there, there's also, you can leave your business card there. I will call you back or send an email. Or my business cards are there, so feel free to take one and then contact me later.
By the way, Pasi, you were telling you have offices in France as well.
Yes, we have. And 2 people working in France right now, and they can also serve you in French language. Better than me, sorry.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, Pasi. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Brice, est-ce que ta présentation est là? Elle doit y être, tu l'as.
Et j'ai une deuxième personne qui est en ligne aussi.
Elle est là?
Qui est connectée.
Okay, so just leaving the time for Brice to set up the presentation. Brice is a key I'd say project manager within Vinci Construction, this department that deals with major projects, and he's been part of a key project down in New Zealand, the so-called City Rail Link for the city of Auckland. Brice will be giving the details, of course, but there is a major component that is made of underground structures as part of this project. And I think that the point that Brice is bringing up through his presentation is the value or the added value of bringing more and more disciplines within the BIM process. So the more you bring disciplines, the more you have interfaces, the more you deal with those interfaces, and therefore, through the BIM process and the quality assurance that it drives, do you generate value? So I think that Brice's presentation is about this. We have a remote speaker too. If we cannot connect with the remote speaker, I don't think this is a problem. You can deliver the presentations anyway. We are just on time, so you have 30 minutes. Yes, please.
Awesome. Hi everybody, thank you very much for attending. First of all, it's a real pleasure to be here in a gorgeous place and to be presenting today. I flew over from Auckland, that's right, 18,000 kilometers away, but not just for the conference, for it as well. I have a colleague, a guy from my team that will be doing a part of the presentation as well. Is based in Auckland, and it's 4 a.m. Over there, so be kind with him. It's a bit early. Okay, so if we can see the slides, right? Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, awesome. So we're both from the Link Alliance, delivering the City Rail Link Auckland Metro. And I'm Brice, and you see Camilo online. That's perfect. Technology is working. I'll start with project presentation, and after that we'll go through the digital engineering aspects of the project. So first of all, our project. What you see in blue in this diagram, it's a bit small, but hopefully you can see some. In blue is the existing stations and railway in Auckland and downtown Auckland. So currently the trains coming from south of Auckland are finishing in Britomart. Britomart station is a terminus, is an old station and a historical building. And the project now is to link it between Britomart and Mount Eden station. For those who are rugby fans, Mount Eden is close to the Eden Park, so where the All Blacks are playing. But the station that we are redeveloping is over there. So we are building 4 stations, and actually 2 of them are already existing. So the Britomart one, which is the historical building, and Mount Eden. And the 2 new stations are Aotea and Karangahape. Those are Maori names. And those 2 stations are underground. Aotea is a very long station. It's about 400 meters deep, 400 meters long, sorry. And Karangahape is very deep. It's 35 meters deep, and is made of 2 shafts, very deep. 35. Yeah, that's what I said. 35 meters deep. That's correct. So we're building those stations, civil works, fit-outs, architectural fit-outs, and building systems, as well as the railway systems necessary to connect them to the existing network, and the connection at Mount Eden, which is quite complex, and Camilo will show you in a moment. What you see now is just a long section, sorry, of the project diagram. The color is not. It's fine. It's just fine. So what you see here is those 4 stations. What you see in this diagram is the gradient of the project is very steep. Is about 3.5%, which for metro project is quite challenging. And the geology in Auckland is also challenging because it's made up of volcanic geology. So we have to go through some basalt at some point. I'll go through this in a moment as well. Now a bit about the deadlines of the project. We started there. I was mobilized there 4 years ago now. And we started the project. I was there for the tender, but we started the contract in July 2019. And then in February 2020, we started the civil works in Mount Eden. And then the TBM was accepted in his factory in China in August 2020. Factory acceptance tests. And then it arrived in Auckland a few months later. And the TBM started its journey mid of 2021. So May of 2021. And now as we speak, the TBM just arrived in LTO. It just finished the first drive. I forgot to mention it, but we're building twin tunnels there. So 2 drives of TBM, and the first drive just did the first part of the journey. All right. Just a little bit about the alliance contract model. I saw this morning a few other projects in Finland working in an alliance contract model, which is really great, and it's really great to see it somewhere else than just in Australia and New Zealand, because this model is really the best approach for an integrated project delivery. I mean. If you heard those presentations before, you just understood that the client, the designer, and the contractor, owner and maintainer of the networks are sharing risk and sharing the opportunities, and that's what we do in our project. So we have seven organizations, which you see here. The 3 top of them are contractors. I'm personally part of Vinci Major Project Division, but we have also 2 other partners, Soritange Bashir, which is a subsidiary of Vinci as well, and Downer, a large contractor in Australia. 3 major designers, AECOM, WSP, Tonkin Taylor. You probably know AECOM and WSP because they're worldwide. And CCR Link is our client. And on top of that, we are working very closely with Auckland Transport, which would be the local equivalent of RATP for the Parisian people, and Kibirel. Yeah, the national railway operator. All right. And now let's dive into digital engineering. What you see here is just a summary of our key results areas. And we report KPIs on those key areas every month to the executive board of the alliance. And I'll just list them. So basically, everything relies on our common data environment, which I will detail. And the 6 sections that you see here are what we are doing in our team, in the BIM team. I'm leading a team of 15 people approximately in the technical department, at the bridge between the design and construction teams. All right, so BIM training and support, of course, BIM coordination, which is one of the most historically known use cases. Design viz, pre-construction, so pre-construction comprises 4D and quantity takeoffs, BIM to site, and finally the delivery of the as-built to the operator. And just to start with, the common data environment. So as you know, not one solution fits all, so we have a combination of tools. What you see on the bottom are the drafting solutions, the solution model authoring software, sorry. We have most of our production is with Autodesk, but not only, also with 12V and Bentley Power Track, and on ProjectWise. But everything is centralized in our SharePoint. Everybody knows SharePoints, but we centralize all the data over there to be able to harvest the KPIs through Power BI. So everything comes to be able to manage it at the product level, and not only the model aspects, all the documentation and so on. On the side, you see other things I'll just go through quickly. So BeamTrack is our BIM collaboration platform where we store the BIM issues, BCF-based. You heard about this today a lot in other presentations. We have a 3D substrata model hosted online as well using Leapfrog. And finally, at the end of the project, we're all delivering this in our platform Ecodomus. Camilo will go through this Ecodomus, but basically is our delivery of the digital twin enabler is in our Ecodomus platform. All right. Just one slide on training and support. So what you see is just a screenshot of an example of the developments we're doing. This is a dynamo of the mine tunnels design development. We do both for design, but also for as-builting, getting the surveyor's data in, using Dynamo scripts to be able to run them and recreate the geometry. And on the bottom side, see the geotechnical reports on a GIS platform, where we have geology, boreholes data, settlements as well. I cannot list all of them, but basically the GIS is connected as well. And another slides on training, sorry, about that. The full journey of BIM is only made possible when you are training people and supporting people for the production. So a large portion of our job is to train people to use, to visualize, to navigate, but also to create content and to develop script to help them create content. So this is the number of sessions we provided, and the number of people we trained. Actually, this number went up. Now we're about 800 or 900 people. Not only in Auckland, but also in the global design centers. Our partners, AECOM and WSP, are working with centers in China, in India, South Africa as well. So it's really challenging and exciting, actually, to work with all these people and train them, not only for accessing, but developing the data. So I think now I will hand over to Camilo, if it's possible. And now again, thank you. And Camilo, over to you. Good morning.
Thank you, Brice. How are you? Good?
Good.
Good morning. Okay. So my name is Camilo. I'm part of the BIM team from Brice. I'm the deputy BIM manager for the South. So I will take care of, I'm taking care of the areas that comprise North Auckland Line, tunnels, and Mountain Station. In terms of BIM coordination, in the project, we run the BIM coordinations with the design and construction teams at the same time as well. So the idea is that we integrate the construction team from the beginning of all the stages from the design, and they are able to do inputs during the design stage and all the different design stages of the different disciplines that we are delivering. And in that way, we are able to evolve the design with construction's inputs at the same time.
You need me to run the slides?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Yes, please. Thank you. In terms of our federation, for example, we run our coordination meetings with a mix of different stages in terms of design. So we have designs that are still in an early stage. At the same time, we have disciplines that have achieved issue for construction, and some other ones, they have already been built, and they have been as built at the same time in our models, and we are able to integrate the more realistic approach at the moment for the design. So we are able to bring what is happening on site at the moment with the integrated design. So elements that are still in design are able to take the as-built information to continue the evolution of the design. So that's for BIM coordinations. The next one. Yep. In terms of a design visualization, we are using design visualization as well, and this is one of the cases is the flight through of one of the single line that is running. This one, it's being used at the moment to train drivers before each one of the operational configurations commences. And the idea is that the train drivers are able to see what are going to be the changes on the tracks before they get on it. Also, we are able as well to deliver a flight through that is being used as well to help stakeholders to understand the risk along the corridor. And how are we putting these flight throughs together? We are bringing IFC formats to our design visualization environment. We are bringing elements from 12D, AutoCAD, Revit, Civil 3D, Bentley, Railtrack, and by implementing and bringing them from IFC formats, we are able to bring all the BIM models into our design visualization environment. Okay, now for virtual reality environments, we at the moment is similar, the same approach. We are bringing all the IFC formats into our design visualization environment. And with the help of virtual reality, we are delivering virtual reality trainings. In this case, it's underground training. And what we are able to achieve is that we actually are doing the training in a virtual training, and that has enabled to actually not to have a physical facility for the training itself. So the underground training, it's been done through a virtual reality training. Now, for the 4Ds, it's the same principle. We bring IFC formats coming from the design models. The design models, they already contain some of the splits and slicing coming from the design, and all the information that is required to link with the construction program that has been delivered as well by the program team, part of the project. And we bring IFC formats into our environment, virtual environment. Sometimes if there is if the program goes deeper than what we have breakdown in our design models, we are also being able to slice and to go to the level of detail of the program inside our virtual environment. Virtual environment. So what you see here is IoT Station 4D program. What you see in orange is all civil works, yellow excavation and primary lining, and red demolition. Okay. Digital totems. At the moment, we have 4 digital totems on site. They serve as support. They are connected to our common data environment. Can be used to review drawings, go through federations models, and also they are used to some kickoff meetings during the morning before the work starts as well. So we have 4 in each station, and that's how we have been implementing them at the moment. Okay, so digital platform. At the moment, as Brice was saying, we have a digital platform. It's called Ecodomus. The digital platform, it's connected to our 3D bin models. And what is good about what we have achieved at the moment here is that what you see here on the screen at the moment is one of the documents. And what we have being able to achieve in documents is we have quality reports, checklists, material approvals, site inspections, check sheets, welding certificates. We are able to close out packages, quality packages from the same digital platform as well. We are able to add warrant certificates into specific components, maintenance records, schedule records, mechanical and for mechanical and operation and maintenance as well. So another advantage about the just to go, so in this one, another advantage about this one is that we have a digital quality check as well, and this has enabled that you don't need to scan quality report quality checks, so you just do it online and with the use of an iPad, and you don't have to upload it after. It gets recorded straight in the component that you are filling it up, and it gets saved. Okay, quality packs closeout. So the quality closeout packs, they are also linked into asset metadata. The asset metadata is being delivered from the design perspective as well. So it's been included in the design from the design side. And what we are able to do for the quality packs closeout is that every time you do a checklist, you do a signed inspection, these documents are actually linked into the component itself and to the asset metadata. And then you are able to do the closeout of the package, and it will bring all the documents together that have been attached to those specific components. And we use the asset metadata in order to achieve that. Digital handover. For the digital handover, what we are putting together is we have 3D models, we have site reports, as-built surveys, and the idea is that our 3D models, how they come into our digital platform. They come as IFC format, so we are able to import to Ecodomus as IFC format. And what we are importing at the end of the day as IFC format is actually the final as-built of the model. So we are as-built-in models at the same time, and at the end of the project, all the models will be as-built and will be part of the digital platform. And with that, we will be able to export to facility management applications. For the digital handover, what we have been able to achieve is that we are able to export in as COBI format, and the client and final stakeholder is going to be able to import into the maintenance management system that they are using all the data that is coming from our digital platform. So all the handover at the end of the day to the client is actually a digital handover. So we are giving a platform that contains all the information, all the quality closeout of all the quality packs closeout inside the digital platform. They are able to export and then import into their maintenance management system.
All right, I think that's it now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
that's just.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Camilo. And that's really the end of the journey of our project. The purpose today was really to give you an overview of what we're doing. of course, technology is evolving and many things are changing, but we've been through this for the past 3-4 years now, and the project is still on for 2 years. Objective is to deliver in 2024. So, yeah, team is working hard to make it happen. But yeah, now any questions are welcome on how we've been doing.
First, Brice, congratulations on a terrific presentation and on a terrific beam use on this project. This is very impressive. Congratulations, frankly.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yep. Any question in the audience? That is not that often that we have the occasion to see what happens effectively on a major project like this one. Please. You can take your mask off if you'd like.
The examples I gave was only on Revit, but we have also on Civil 3D for driver sighting. On Civil 3D, we use the DynamoScript to be able to create a geometry to show the line of sight for the train driver and to be able to confirm the location of signaling equipment alongside the trackway. And yes, so both on Civil 3D and Revit. But most of them on Revit because our tunneling is in Revit, and currently we are very much focused on as-building the tunneling and civil works. Yep. Yeah, they do. They do a lot. But Camilo can talk to you about this. But we have a few DynamoScripts that are pretty heavy and difficult to manage.
I didn't hear the question. Sorry.
Yeah, do we have DynamoScripts that crash?
Yep.
We answered on your behalf. 2 other questions, yeah, maybe? Allez-y.
For the subgrade modeling. Yeah, okay. So we have a full 3D subgrade model that was handed over to us by the client, and this is created through our first we log our boreholes data into our GIS platform, and from there we create and update the 3D substrata model with the boreholes data. But yes, we have delimited a zone around the project, around the footprint of the project, and we have this 3D substrata model. Yep. In Leapfrog, that's the software.
And so the tunnel pass itself was optimized on the basis of this modelization.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Vincent.
Okay. Yeah, so being in Alliance, the first advantage is to break down the frontiers and to be able to talk freely. And usually the problem in typical traditional contracts is that there are lots of modifications to contract or variations that are occurred with the discussions coming on additional requirements that come throughout the project lifecycle, and being able to talk freely from the early stages of the project between a designer, contractor, and a maintainer. First of all, the questions are getting answered earlier, and second, there is no reluctance on trying to find solutions to problems. I guess so. From my perspective, I don't know if Camilo, you want to add something on this, the advantages of the alliance model.
Something that I've seen that is quite useful is that there is not a sort of like a restriction from the designer to not actually deliver something better. So when there is inputs from construction that can actually improve and have a better outcome economically or technical, the designers take that into account as well. So we have situations, for example, where the whole retaining wall has been changed because of inputs from construction, and the whole design has been redone.
Any other question?
Okay, so reinforcement, specifically on reinforcement, we did very little 3D reinforcement in this project. Okay, so we work closely with suppliers and subcontractors, right? And one of the suppliers is the steel fabricator and supplier. Was meant to do all the steel detailing in 3D. The fact is the amount of work required for that was huge. So we did a few big slabs of 70 centimeters thick slabs, so pretty big civil works. But I cannot say that we did it for the full project. Of course not. We did it where it was required on complex geometries, and it was done in Revit. And you know, some software are better than the others to deal with 3D reinforcement. Yeah, but I couldn't go further on 3D reinforcement. Okay. Yeah, I guess so. It's a worldwide.
We had another question, sir? It was the same question, okay. Pierre, do we have any, like nothing? Okay, good.
Awesome.
I have one little question, no, two actually. First, the beam approach on this project, was that decided upon by the infrastructure owner, or was that something that the consortium suggested?
No, it was requested from the beginning in the tender documents, and that's one of the reasons I was mobilized, and that I was able to create a team over there. But yeah, it was a client requirement from the beginning.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. And as far as the project reviews are concerned, could you give us an indication of the cycle at which those reviews happen on the basis of this BIM database?
There are many types of project reviews, but there are weekly coordination reviews, of course, for very detailed coordination aspects in the stations and in tunnels. We have also bi-monthly safety gate reviews. We have overall project gate reviews every 6 months. So various kinds, yes, with various people, design-oriented, construction-oriented, maintenance-oriented.
Okay. So everywhere on the project.
Yep.
Okay. Impressive.
But yeah, and they use different levels of BIM for that. So.
Okay. Thank you, Brice. If
so
no other questions, so the Brice, we thank you very much, you and your teammate. Very, very impressive presentation.
Thank you, Camilo.
Thank you, Brice.
Now, is Mr. Uni here? You see Milaniemi. Do we have that one person here in the room? No, we don't. Okay. Then Nuzio Flavio, are you here? Doesn't seem Nuzio is here. Do you have any news on Nuzio or? Alors, Fulvi, can you hear us, Fulvi?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, now we can hear you. So are you delivering the speech on behalf of Juicy?
Yes, we were supposed to do it together, but he has gotten a flu, so he cannot attend
okay.
today.
Let me just check whether we see you. No, we don't. Can we just... now, is that okay? Yes, we can see you.
Yes.
So you
Great.
are in front of a crowd of 200 people, roughly. So don't be impressed.
Great.
You have 30 minutes. We are more or less on time, and we'll take a few questions at the end if that's okay by you. Okay, we need two minutes. Maybe you can just briefly introduce yourself and the presentation that you'd like to deliver. Just the time that we set up things technically.
Yes, thank you. Can you see my slides, or do you need to?
Not yet. Therefore the introduction, if you can do it.
Okay. So, greetings everyone from Finland. I'm a researcher from Tampere University, and as you already might have heard, we were supposed to do this presentation together with my fellow researcher Jussi Mylläniemi. And we have done this research together with Pasi Helsten and Kalle Weismaa. The three of us, me, Viivi Siuko, and Jussi and Pasi are from Information and Knowledge Management Research Group, and Kalle Weismaa is our infrastructure sector professional. So this presentation will be about maturity of knowledge-based management in infrastructure lifecycle. And first, I will tell you shortly about our research program, and then we will move to the actual research. And has the situation changed with the sharing?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe we've just. Would you say that we were until now sort of lacking knowledge-based management in the current infrastructure project we develop? Would you say so?
According to our research, and you will see our from our slides shortly, that it is really different in companies and in public organizations. In companies, it seems that there's a lot of practices developed in knowledge-based management, but the public sector is lacking behind, and they need to at least take the time and effort to implement the practices that they have been developing.
And if we make a parallel, would you have, in Finland, from your experience, a different situation with the private infrastructure owners?
We don't actually have that much private infrastructure owners. It's mostly public owned in Finland. So we mainly have public owners, and then we have private companies that build them and that maintain them and design them. So it's usually public organizations that purchase the work and the designs.
Okay.
And companies are the ones that implement them.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Vivli. I think we have now your slides on.
Okay,
Is that
great.
us moving, or is that Vivli moving? Is that you?
Yes, me.
Okay.
If it's changed.
Then the floor
Yes.
is yours.
Okay, so the road and street construction sites and the infrastructure sector more widely often encounters problems with productivity. Information is lost, much double work is done, procurement practices vary, production processes are deficient, and attitudes inflexible. In addition, the infrastructure repair depth should be reduced. Our research program, ProDigital, aim is to meet the current challenges of the infrastructure sector by promoting digitalization. ProDigital research program develops tools and operating models that improve productivity, promotes the utilization of digitalization through the entire life cycle of infrastructure and compiles an overall picture of them. The research program is divided into 4 research entities: lifecycle information, acquisition and cooperation, change of operating culture, and improvement of productivity. Our research is focused on the lifecycle information, and the other 3 entities are researched by different research groups. Our research program began in November 2020, and a key part of the research is infrastructure projects, in which new means and operating models are tested. As you can see from the picture, the pilots are taking place for the whole research program, and there are multiple pilots going on. I would say something between 10 to 15 in the whole research program. ProDigital is funded by the Finnish Transport Infrastructure Agency and 10 Finnish cities. And the research program is based on the preliminary study Roadmap to Infrastructure Productivity, which was funded by the Finnish Transport Infrastructure Agency in 2019 to 2020. To get to the actual topic, knowledge-based management in ProDigital and its development. We have started by defining the present situation from a knowledge-based management point of view, including challenges and needs, etc. Next, we will define the core information in the life cycle, develop data flows, processes, and management. And we also plan to study asset information management and digitalization-based management as part of solutions to the challenges in infrastructure sector. So, what is knowledge-based management? It is methods and practices such as processing and utilizing organizational data to support decision making, and it aims to reduce the uncertainty that is caused from the lack of information and managing the ambiguity that arises from the amount of information. So if you need to remember something from this slide during the whole presentation, remember that knowledge-based management is about practices and methods that aim to support decision-making. And the aim is to change data and information into knowledge and understanding. The starting point for our research were the challenges in infrastructure sector that Kalle Weismaa had found in interviews in 2020. And we took these results from these interviews and analyzed them in a knowledge management framework, where we could find these 5 common areas where also other sectors than infrastructure sector has challenges. And for example, information needs are not known in detail in infrastructure sector. It is not known what information each phase of the infrastructure lifecycle needs. The information that employees need exists, but it's scattered and difficult to find, and lots of manual and unnecessary work has to be done to acquire the information. Data storage is not unified across information systems or human practices. The information is fragmented, at least from the point of view of municipalities. Fragmentation and lack of integration make sharing difficult. Information is overwhelmed and impoverished when it is transferred from one actor or phase to another. And the decisions are made with too little information. For example, when design is purchased, sometimes they don't know which information they should require when the project is ending. So now we finally get to the part which I had actually prepared for you. The previous part was uses. So first we will get to the state of, first we will get to the data collection, how we collected the data, and then we will get to the results of the state of knowledge-based management in case organizations. So we conducted a survey on maturity level of knowledge-based management, and we managed to get 68 respondents from 22 organizations. And these organizations were health companies and health public customer organizations. And the survey was distributed to 8 sections according to Jacquart's process model. We decided to have sections of sharing information, acquiring information, information needs, information products, storing information, information use, organizational strategy, and project management. And in each of these sections, we had statements, and the respondents answered in Likert scale to these statements. Then I will show you a figure of the case network that we are studying, and it includes also the key information sharing points of interest. So here in the case network figure, you can see the infrastructure lifecycle from design to construction to maintenance. Our goal is to make the key information shared from design all the way to maintenance, so that the information is made richer and updated by the construction phase on the way. Currently, there is a challenge that the shared information gets lost or reduced, not richer. Also, maintenance usually gets the design models as they are, not including the changes that construction has made. We want to change that. In the knowledge-based management point of view, this case network is very challenging. The design phase might take
Thanks, Sylvie. Thanks a lot. We know this is not that easy to assess and to run such a remote presentation, but that was very informative, high-level perspective, interesting, I think. Any questions to Fivli on that one matter? I have one for you, but I'm asking the audience first. None? So Fivli, you've been very, very clear. Now let me ask you one quick question. Have you investigated a bit the subject of this handover from what documents the as-built, the as-designed as-built on one side, and then you have the as-maintained on the other side? We know this isn't always the same level of granularity that we have to provide. Is this one subject, is that something that you have recommendations around in a way, in terms of how to make this analysis, this investigation?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes,
from as-built.
Okay, from as-built to as-maintained. We know the level of granularity of data is different. In other words, the as-built data might not be proper in terms of its details to what an assets management system needs. Is that something that you have investigated?
No, that's we are having the research in quite upper level, so we are not going to too much detail, not into too much data. We are researching like processes and the enterprise architecture. So I think I cannot give you an answer to that question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a question, please.
Hello. How are you planning to, for example, to reduce accessibility, for example, for different groups? For example, there is experts. We should see only specific information, and for example, in general users. Do you think about how it should be soluted in managing all the documents for security measures?
Security is a really important aspect in this, especially when there are multiple organizations taking taking place in this network, and everyone has their own goals. So it must be really taken into close consideration which documents can be shared and which are which need to be held in the organization.
Yes, I think we understand that. Yes, that's good. You re-stress it. Thanks, Vivli. Any other questions? Or then, okay, Vivli, thank you very much again. Preparing and presenting. Thanks. If Nudzio from Geodata isn't here, is there anyone from Geodata in the room? No? So I think we can then go a little bit earlier than planned to the cocktail. Thank you for your time here with us today. I think that was informative. As I said, this is the first part of this track. The second part is tomorrow morning, as early as of 11:30, with a focus that will be more on bridges. For my side, I just remind you on this presentation on IFC for tunnel update that I'll be giving as a presentation at 12:30. Thank you very much again, and enjoy the cocktail. Thank you.